Our first stop the next morning was to Burnham Park. Normally I hate going there as it's so crowded, but it was pretty sparse that day since it was a weekday and there's still a pandemic going on, even if the worst of Omicron had passed. I loaded up some expired Kodak film I'm using up. I took 2 rolls to Baguio. I bought them back in 2008-2009, didn't use them, and they expired in 2010, making them 12 years old expired as of 2022. Burnham Park is still the same as ever, people wheeling around in rented bikes and little 4-wheel pedal buggies. A lot of neat street food. As I mentioned, the 2 rolls of Kodak Ektacolor Pro 160 film I brought on the trip expired back in 2010. That's 12 years ago and I didn't store them in a fridge or anything. The chemicals had degraded pretty badly by then. Out of 32 total frames, only 7 ended up somewhat usable. I'll post them side by side, the digital reference photos. You'll be able to tell which is the film photo. The color cast is pretty bad due to the chemicals that were slowly degrading over 12 years. I had them developed back here in Metro Manila and scanned them myself and post-processed in software. Upon scanning but pre-software processing, most were barely visible, near black or with a very bad magenta color cast. Taho is a typical Filipino street food you can find almost anywhere in the Philippines, sold by itinerant street vendors. It's soft tofu with tapioca balls, and the street food version is usually topped with caramelized brown sugar. The Baguio City Taho vendors have additional flavors atypical of other street vendors outside of the city though. Ube, our kind of Filipino purple yam, and strawberry. Baguio City's ube and strawberry jam are pretty famous. Yummy! Aside from pedaling 4-wheel buggies and bicycles, another classic Burnham Park activity is renting these little kitschy boats to ride around the man-made lake in the center of the park. Get a load of this bootleg Doraemon carving. Is this supposed to be the Little Mermaid? And here's another spooky result from my 12-year-old expired film with its digital reference photo. It was pretty cool around the time we went, around 22 degrees Celsius during daytime, 71 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cool for the tropics. Aside from the boat rentals, they also had these pedal foot-powered swan boats. And here's yet another spooky expired film photo. On one end of Burnham Park is Le Bloom Mobile Cafe. It hits all the aesthetic notes that millennials and Gen Z love. As for an old-timer like me, I was pretty satisfied with their hot chocolate with a dash of orange syrup. This long strip and the way back out the exit near the parking lot with the diner windows actually used to house a bumper car amusement lot. I loaded my second roll of 12-year-old expired Kodak film here. Back at Burnham Park, I walked around again taking photos while my friends biked. I wanted to use up my second roll of 12-year-old expired Kodak Ektacolor Pro 160 film. This flower I shot with that expired film looks like a spooky Victorian picture. The flowers at this park are gorgeous. Baguio is actually known for a huge annual flower festival. Here's the Swan Boat rental parking lot. They look a bit funny all lined up in a row. This is one of the Cobra boats I shot with expired film. Again, it looks so spooky. When the chemicals degrade, the film loses sensitivity to light, among other problems. Here's the swan boats I shot with expired film. I had to post-process them to tease out the shadows and tried my best to remove the magenta color cast. This is an accidental double exposure of the swan boats in the parking lot booth. I shot the parking lot booth just before leaving. I must have forgotten to move the film forward. The sunflowers here are huge, as big as my hand. Here's some bees feasting on flower nectar. Here's a spooky version of this ice cream cart I shot with my 12-year-old expired film and its digital reference photo.